And we are live. Hello, guys. Woo!
Hello, wow, buhay.
Yes, we are live and in charge. Wow. So, welcome, guys, to another podcast series with Level Up Geek. And it's
Mm.
your host, John, your Christian Geek, and part of the Level Up crew. Tonight, we are going to talk about Superman. Yay! Medyo
Ay,
delayed na po
Superman.
tayo.
Teka, may prepare ako naman.
Yes, sir,
Yun.
Superman. So,
Yes,
it
and so
is, ano ba? May intros pa ba tayo?
yeah, intro muna tayo, of course.
Sige.
So for this evening, we have our eclectic guest of characters from the Level Up crew to talk about
Tama.
Superman. So with me, we have our brand ambassador,
Brand champion.
brand champion Vel, hi Vel, and of course our resident geek vlogger talaga.
He's more of a
Vince Howson.
journalist, but yes.
Say hi, Vince.
Say hi, Howson.
Ay,
Hi.
And of course,
Yeah.
our COO Boss Mang, who is a
Eddie
father.
Chan.
Yeah,
Hi. Oh, I am a
Got-
father 2.0.
father 2.0.
Yes.
But not a priest. A real father.
But not the priest. Yes. I mean, priests are fathers too sometimes. Hey.
Ay! Wait.
Well, I mean, in some, okay, to be fair, in some,
In like British or something.
tsaka yung Orthodox ata, or I don't know.
Yeah,
Basta
that's-
some groups are allowed to actually get married legally and everything. So, it's
Yes.
not actually that. It's not really that.
That's
Not that
scandalous.
controversial, guys.
It's not controversial. That's true.
So with that being said, I will pass on the mic to John G and explain what we're doing here tonight.
Right. So,
we're
just
doing
to keep,
something tonight?
yes, to keep things simple tonight. What are we doing? What are we doing? So, this is what happens when you're newborn dad. The joke. So we're gonna be talking about Superman tonight, and as Christian geeks who enjoy these things, what is our take on it? And we're gonna start off with prior to the movie, because we're in a time where superhero movies are one of the main cinematic tentpoles every year. Not something we actually thought we'd see growing up, I think, because comic books weren't quite that mainstream before. But superheroes movies now are like, oh, hey, it's so mainstream, it's so popular. So we're coming into a time now superhero movies are very mainstream. If anything, there's a bit of a burnout on the genre. So coming into Superman 2025, what was on your mind prior to the movie?
I will jump in right here as a self professed DC fanboy.
Mhm.
I was it's a mixture of hyped but overly cautious because I feel like I've been burned by when it comes to the franchise. I love DC. I love the stories of DC. Um, I'm a bigger DC fan. I love Marvel, but I love DC more. And one of the reasons here is because unlike Marvel, that tends to veer towards darker storylines, which has always been naman. Um, tends to be more of to have more of a fantastic, whimsical storylines, more hope,
Larger
more
than
bright,
life.
and etc. So that's really how I feel. With the exception of the DCEU, which again, di ba? Darker tones siya than the usual in the comic books. So parang I wasn't sure how movie was going to. So there was there's that mix of anticipation, especially since Superman is one of my also one of the most, because people just tend to throw him in as oh he's the the Captain America of the parang the Boy Scout of so that he's a flat character when actually there are layers and angles to him that most people don't know unless you read the comics. So I think yun nga parang mix of being a little bit cautious at the same time hype because it's a reboot and it's a rehash and it's James Gunn at the helm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Who else wants to give it a take?
Me
Vince,
naman.
Bell? Ano? Sige, go.
Now I was gonna say like parang I'm the opposite of JP.
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
are
guys,
a
my
DC
love is
fan.
Marvel, so it makes sense that I love the MCU. And if I'm gonna be
That's true.
completely honest, I've actually never seen any of the Superman movies prior to this one. Um,
Which is
I'm sorry,
interesting.
but
It's okay.
ano,
You're coming in as a clean slate then.
yeah, but like parang I have watched like some DC movies. Like I think the first one that I watched was Wonder Woman 84. Tama
The
ba?
sequel. Yeah,
I think
84. That's the sequel.
I didn't like that honestly, but like parang the one that got me a little bit more invested in the DCU was really the James Gunn Suicide Squad. So parang after nun, like I think I really like Blue Beetle. Tama ba? Sorry
Yeah,
guys,
Blue
correct
Beetle.
me if I'm
It's one
wrong.
of those not quite hits, but it's actually an
Yeah, but it was like
interesting.
a good watch na parang okay, like the good for them. And then the Flash sayang, but parang it was pretty good too. So parang with DC, it's like just the universe that they're building is confusing to me. So parang me coming into like Superman, parang I'm just hopeful na parang, I hope you guys start building something talaga out of it. Because parang I can see that like a lot of fans are really eager to have something going on for DC. And
Yeah.
I'm one of those people too na I would love to root for something that's not Marvel. So, ayun, parang
Mm,
my expectations were like, hopeful that it makes an impact. And of course, parang being someone who now works with WBD, parang it's gonna be easier for me to do my job if it's a really good movie. So,
that is
ayun,
true.
okay naman. Yeah. But yeah, that's my expectation from it. And that's my background also coming into the DCU in
Gotcha.
general. In general.
So you are now compromised, joke.
No, I'm hopeful.
Incentivized, yes.
Or
All
being
right.
integrated.
You are being integrated like a Borg. All right.
Yes.
So, Vince, ikaw, anong take mo, sir?
Ay, yung sa sinasabi ni JB, yung the one that JB accused of, I was one of those people na he is accusing of, thinking that Superman is boring, which is true naman. He has always been boring to me. He has always been, oh, he's the Gary Stu. But oh no, I am an alien. I can't get by anything except my kryptonite. So parang I never was a fan of Superman because he was so boring to me. And parang like
Personally.
I personally kasi I don't like characters that are perfect.
Mm.
Magkano mo mag-react yung isa dyan?
Wala akong sinabi. I didn't say
Yes,
anything.
but I know
You
where
don't need to say anything.
when we discuss this, when we discuss this, perspective of Superman, I know how you react, especially when they say that he's a boring character because he's a perfect character. But anyway, um, the one thing that I said that I did not appreciate back then, and I like Captain America more, was that Superman was, alam mo yung in your group of friends is sobrang pagudi two shoes na nakakainis siya kasama. He's that friend.
I get
He's
it.
that friend, di ba? Na parang, alam mo yung like, he's like that, let's say for example, in a classroom in college, 15 minutes, wala pa yung prof, free cut na. He's going to be that classmate that's going to stay in the room even if it's free cut already because ay kasi baka dumating si sir. That's my perception of Superman then. And that's why
Yeah.
I loved Zack Snyder's take on Superman in Man of Steel. Kasi it showed that he wasn't as perfect as he is normally portrayed in audiovisual media. Also, he had conflicting um
Issues.
mentors.
Yeah.
Kasi diba, the Earth's father didn't want him to show his powers because humanity wasn't ready. But then sino pa yung pangalan ng tatay niya, Jimmy?
Jor-El.
Si Jor-El.
Jor-El wanted him to be an example, set an example of what humanity could reach
be.
out, could be. So parang I like that kasi it compelled me to try to understand how he's going to live up to those two expectations and all that. Tapos, I was introduced to yun yung sinabi ko, I remember one of our common friends na I told him na that's why I hated Superman. And then she introduced me to this Superman that's still quote-unquote perfect. Pero the way he handled the villains, yung si Superman versus the elites.
Yeah.
So that was that Superman that okay, if this is what Superman stories are supposed to be,
Yes.
then fine. I am okay with that. Na he can be his good boy scout thing, but at the same time kasi he showed a side of himself that wasn't normally easily accessible to me. Kasi accessible nung time na yun to me was Justice League Unlimited, yung Lewis and Clark. Lewis and Clark. Every portrayal
Cut naman
before every portrayal before Man of Steel, he was this perfect schoolboy na ayaw mo makasama kasi ang corny niya nakakabarkada. Now with Superman, this Superman, I kind of liked it kasi yes, he still had those yung mga hang-ups na but then at the same time kasi you actually felt that he became he wanted to become that person that his parents spoiler alert na lang sa mga hindi pa he wanted him to be in the first half of the message. So parang alam mo yun na parang I like this Superman in a sense kasi he had that conflict where he had to deal with the way people were looking at him. And at the same time, he is this superhero being na kaya niyang patayin lahat sila. So, doon mo makikita yung the way he is portrayed na, pero kasi they don't like Man of Steel because he killed people and he wasn't hopeful and whatever. Pero this one, so parang
I think people
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
And kasi yung conflict ko, yung inis ko dun sa Man of Steel before with the people who say that was that they're not looking Superman as how Snyder was presenting him. They were looking at Superman and how he's presented to them in prior media. So hindi na mapagbangga yung dalawang na yun. That's why they don't like it. Ako naman, I kind of like it kasi it showed that he is trying to change to become someone he's aiming to become. Kaya lang yun nga, unstoppable force and for at least for this Superman, I kind of like it na he was able to portray and keep up yung pagiging hopeful while being respectful to the source material and to the fans before. So
I think it's I think ako personally I liked MOS as well. Man of Steel was for me it was an okay movie. It was a different take on Superman, but being a Superman fan, nakikita ko sa yung nuances of the nuances of I don't see kasi Superman as a perfect person. I don't see he's a person that has flaws. He has a person that has his own insecurities. trying to be an example. And so parang if you look at Superman from the surface level, syempre ganun yung tingin ng mga tao na oh, he's the perfect guy. And the people who like him because of that is don't understand Superman in my opinion. That's why when MOS came out, like parang ako wala akong problema even the way that and hindi to spoiler kasi sobrang tagal na ng MOS, di ba? But
That's true.
when Man of Steel came out and he ended up killing Zod, and people are like saying, "Oh, that's not Superman. He wouldn't kill." But when push comes to shove, Superman will kill if it means for the greater good of those who he wants to save and those who he believes
Exactly.
in. And so
Exactly.
people don't know those nuances. I think those are the things that people forget. So parang I didn't want a bland Superman because as much as I also enjoyed the Brandon Routh Superman, he was actually the most bland of the Superman that portrayals in my opinion.
Kinda sad though. Kinda like
But
Brandon Routh as an actor.
As an actor, Brandon Routh is great. It's just that the way that the script wrote him there, na parang
si ano yan, si singer may kasalanan nun.
he was very one-dimensional. I think that's the word that ano. And I think that's you look at ako personally kasi like for example, I can't remember all the way back to Lois and Clark. I did watch it but I don't remember the story beats of Clark, but like in Smallville for example or in like Man of Steel or ano pa bang mga other na portrayals of Superman in
Smallville.
I actually the one thing that I disagree with, I think in Justice League you can actually see different facets of Superman there if you religiously watched it. So, but again,
Sorry, I have no religion.
but the point is, I think that a lot of cases nga, parang for this Superman, parang sobrang dami na ng iterations ng Superman.
That's
You're not
true.
sure how it's gonna come out eh. Yun yung, even if it's James Gunn, there was just that you're cautious of how this is gonna come out. You're hoping that it is true to the comic book and not a bland one-dimensional character because Superman can easily, like Vince has said, a lot of people can easily see him as a one-dimensional boring character.
Because he
So, so, but yun nga, ako kasi, again, I'm such a big into the mythos of Superman. I'm sobrang interested how, do you know that, even in the comic books, how his religion, his belief system, he's a Presbyterian, by the way. In the comic books.
At least in the golden silver age. So basically,
he was in the basta 2000s na, there was a panel where they reaffirmed his pagiging Presbyterian because his parents are Presbyterians. And so and he adheres to that belief system. And there have been panels where he would like consult a priest, talk about humanity and ethics and morality.
Yeah.
And I think this is that's those are the nuances that people miss when it comes to Superman. And that's why I think, and let's face it, Superman was created by two Jewish guys, and yung creators nila, they were two Jewish guys, and they really made him to out as a Jesus Messiah figure.
So, transitioning from that talk to
So, John?
Right. So on my end, my background as a Superman fan, because unlike Vince, I know, well, iba yung reaction ko. Like, I do understand it's so easy to write Superman as a very plain vanilla character.
Yeah.
And occasionally, he does really come off that way. But the thing is, I love vanilla.
I love vanilla, but I don't love the vanilla-ness of Superman.
Wow.
Yeah. But I love vanilla characters. I love your Luke Skywalkers. I love your, Superman. I love your, just, I'm a farm boy, and oh no, power has been bestowed upon me. So with the goodness of my heart and what I learned from Ma and Pa, I'm gonna help the world. I love those characters because it's simple and it's good. So I'm like, I don't, why does being good have to be so complicated? Which is kind of what you see here. And I think it's more interesting here because it's more interesting here because wait, hold on. Yeah. Okay. So it because we're living in a world where the storytelling is very different. So I don't know if you've noticed, pero kung tingnan mo yung storytelling ng mga novels, from the well-edited ones to the more trashy web novel ones, most people are like, I want more grit. I want more, punk. Diba? That's why, like, in
I
the
want
80s and
aura farming.
90s, yeah, well, I don't know about aura farming, but the point is, like, they want to see more darkness because it's like, the world isn't hopeful. The world isn't like that. It's not like what our parents told us. It's more dark, it's more gritty, it's more tiring.
Okay.
So your Gen X, millennial, whatever experience is very burnt out or whatever, and it's like they don't connect to a Superman who's hopeful. So a Superman who's like representing a lot of these super positive, people would even call it toxic positivity traits, diba? It's like, oh, you're so toxically positive, and it's like it sickens me, and it's
Yes.
like, yeah, but that's the thing, is that's looking at Superman from a shallow level, because he is, which is nicely presented here in the current movie, because it shows that positivity while maintaining a somewhat real slash grounded view of a world which we can relate to. So yeah, background ko lang din is that there are many kinds of Superman. So Henry Cavill seems to be adjacent to the Injustice version, where he goes really wrong. He goes really off. I've read other Superman stories, like yung Red Sun, where he lands in the
I love it. I love the storyline.
USSR,
Soviet in
and then
Soviet Russia. Superman
yes, in
becomes
Soviet Russia, he becomes basically the ruler of the entire world, because
Yung
Stalin
Superman
says
Red
you
Sun is
are,
interesting kasi 'di ba
yeah,
parang again the normal na Superman is truth, justice, and the American way. So biglang Superman Red Sun is order and
no justice in
order
Soviet Russia.
fascism and ano,
correct.
dictatorship like
So it's very different. So I have seen a variety of Superman. And of course, the Justice League, Justice whatever. I've seen that. So I came into the James Gunn one hopeful, because he did make what I consider to be the best of the Marvel movies, which is the Guardians of the Galaxy. I felt that as a
Consistently
series,
one of the best.
yes, consistently the best. Like as a character series or a team series, sila yung parang pinaka consistently high note. Like the sequels were all quality. So some people will debate like, oh, it's not that great or whatever. Like, it. But the point is, they all had a consistent level of, for me, at least a minimum consistent level of quality. None of them were bombs. None of them were terrible. Uh,
anyway,
yun.
it's interesting you mentioned punk kasi sabi mo nga and spoiler the movie, what if being good parang being counter to the dark of man is punk, if it's ano parang hopeful is punk. Kasi
Yeah.
nga we are so used to a world where everything is dark and gritty, parang I've lost faith in humanity, such and such.
Yeah. So I mean, because that has been the tone of the movies of the DCU, and the tone of the movies
Marvel.
pandemic era and onwards. It's like, it's very like, tired dealing with whatever. So parang punk is raging against that malaise of depression or something. Diba? Punk is
Punk's
raging against
content.
that. Yeah, punk is raging against that depressed world vibes, which I think is happening.
Mighty Crab Joys.
Mighty Cramjoys. I don't know. But yes. So,
So where do we go from here?
where we go from here? So, where we go from here is basically these are all of our thoughts about different Superman stories, the DCU in general, how we are as fans, and how we've seen the different iterations of Superman in the cinematic sense, or in the comic sense. So the next question is like, okay, now that we've all watched the movie, anong take nyo? Yes, yes. All right, so let's round robin it. Who wants to go first?
Ganyan.
Yeah, sige. Or same order as earlier. So the first one who did it was John. You want to go first?
Um,
Sige.
just kidding.
Skip.
Wow, JB, mag-skip ka? First time, ah.
I'm just kidding. Sabi kasi nagtanggal ako ng salamin eh.
Skip. Ay.
One.
Well, number one, I think it was a good idea that I really love the movie. I think I made a review that gave it an 8.5. I want to be objective, so I don't want to say it's a perfect movie or it's like just because I'm a DC fanboy. But I really love the movie. I like the way it was portrayed. It felt very close to the comic book. And it's nice that it wasn't an origin film. Sawang-sawa na ako sa origin ni Superman. Parang, I'm so tired of hearing his origin. So parang it's nice that starts in the middle of his career, no? Parang in his naman siya year one. Pero at least parang early in his career, he's been hero for a couple of years or so na years if I
Mm-hmm.
so parang been operating for some time now. And ano parang we are thrust into this world na ito na yung setting. Ito na yung setting. We have Superman serving for 3 years. We have other superheroes who have been existing for some time now. And we have Lex Luthor already scheming and plotting all this time. So it's nice to be thrust into the world without having to go to the background of it all. Parang natin kailangan i-hash masyado yung ano. And I like that the flashbacks where parang hindi siya ano eh. Parang a lot of times the movie just assumes that you already know. And because we already know, ako para sa akin, we already know this. So a lot of this stuff is already known. So parang
It's easily known.
yeah, so
Yeah.
parang so now we're trying to explore who is Superman, who is Clark Kent, right? What is he in this kind of world are existing, and what are the issues that that as a hero just wants to do the right thing. Parang ganun yung ano natin eh. Crux ng storyline. The hero who just wants to do the right thing, but everybody has an opinion on what the right thing is. No? And it's
Just like in real life.
Oh, real life, exactly, 'di ba? And sabi nga niya parang it's too political, it's too woke. I even saw a conservative na it's funny that it is coming from the conservatives because Superman tends to be a hero that appeals to the conservatives. Pero lang it's too woke now, it's too political, but that's the point. And if you look at Jesus, he's a man who struggled to do because there was temptation, but he did the right thing despite the fact what people are telling him. Like the rabbis and the Pharisees kept tables in the temple to do the right thing. The same manner that parang and then you can't help do that parallelism in the same that si Superman parang went to a foreign country to stop a war. And wala siyang pakialam dun sa allegiances and alliances and the geopolitical the right thing is to stop it. The right thing is to prevent deaths, to prevent people are going to die as he said. I really like the way that the movie made it. I'm glad. There are certain aspects that I didn't like masyado. For example, the actual message of parang yung ang dark naman ng actual message ng parents ni ano.
That's
Parang
true.
that's really that for
Although
me that's
canonically there it is exists.
parang for me that's the one that is the most divergent from most Superman storylines.
But they,
Although
Gunn said naman na he did it on purpose.
on purpose. Although sabi ko nga parang one of the running theories is that parang ano siya, lost in translation. So, parang yung the way that it was said, it translated in English or American English had been different. Parang ganon. So, it's either way though. My point is parang I like the Superman because we see that he is someone who struggles to do the right thing when everybody's telling him what the right thing is. Or telling him na ganito dapat to, ganito dapat to, ganito. And I think it's very, very realistic of the real world where a lot of us are struggling to do the right thing and different things what the right thing is. Then when you analyze it, that's the right thing. Parang morally gray siya. Hindi yata tama yan. And yet, parang the world is telling you that that's right. And probably, I think one of the most relatable Superman so far that has been grabe.
Vince, chill.
Chill.
So, okay. So Vince might have a different take on it. But anyway, go ikaw muna, Bel.
Kasi, sabi mo like, the arrangement kanina. Anyway, I was just gonna say na parang, as someone who's like kinda new to this universe, hindi naman new, pero parang, I think it was very easily digestible compared to like other DC movies. Because I think like that's one of like my barriers to entry. Like, I find DC movies very intimidating na parang, ba't ang haba? Bakit ganun yung, ba't ang dark? Parang ganun.
The 4
But yeah, I
hour
think
Justice League cut.
one is too light and it's actually enjoyable and it's like something na parang you would wanna like bring your family with to watch. So, ayun, I really genuinely feel like James Gunn did this one a lot of justice. And
Justice.
and it's quite exciting for me na parang okay, like I can't wait to see what's next. In terms of like the characters, I mean, I do like Superman in this one, but I think the rest of like the secondary characters are also very much lovable. Earlier kanina when we weren't live yet, we were talking about Jimmy. I think he's kind of like one of my favorite characters there, and Eve. And surprisingly, one of like the characters that stood out for me too is Metamorpho. More so
Yeah.
how his story can be kind of tied to, you know, how we as people look at our life situation and how like sometimes you need to put your hope or your trust in something na parang you don't necessarily want to do. So parang, you know, like parang he was under orders and he was doing what he was doing to protect his son, but eventually, you know, he took the risk and it paid off, like parang because he put his hope in Superman. Jesus. Joke lang.
It was a leap of faith.
Because he put his hope there, diba? He gets to be with his kid and, you know, live a nice life after. But yeah, anyway, parang secondary characters wise, I really like that too, na parang they made them important compared to other DC movies that I've watched.
That they didn't feel as impactful or relevant.
Ayun, and then the story itself too, like it's fun. And I like the comedic relief too in Guy Gardner. He's also great. So yun, parang after seeing this, I think my takeaway is just I'm really excited to see what comes next, and I really hope talaga na they hash out the DCU. Now, like parang ayusin nyo na guys, please. Make it like this vibes. But I know like there's room naman for dark. So, I don't mind something dark. So, ayun.
I think that's where Batman comes in because among naman the Batman talaga yung dark talaga yung storyline eh.
Darkness!
There's not enough James Gunn Joes to make him light, I think.
Well,
But
depends.
we'll see. Meron ng idea
There's
daw si
certain
James Gunn
there's certain
for-
versions of him that aren't too dark. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
Hindi kasi yung Brave and the Bold naman yung makukuha nating Batman. So,
Yeah,
we'll see.
probably. And
No,
Brave
not
and the Bold-
probably. He already said that it's Brave and the Bold.
And
So
Brave and the Bold
that Batman is a bit more heroic.
He's more
Yeah,
heroic, less
comic.
dark, and he's the witty, sarcastic
There's
Batman.
darkness!
Brave and the Bold yun yung Batman eh, witty and sarcastic. So it can
And
fit
with
into
the
the
source
current-
material so I can review it.
Yeah.
I think ang ganda nga kasi ng I like that you mentioned Metamorpho, no? Kasi parang Metamorpho yung character, parang
It's a
pang-character
good
study.
character.
Isang character kasi that was parang due to his circumstances he's doing a bad thing. 'Di ba? Parang ganun yun eh. Pero eventually he realizes wrong. This is wrong. And he wants to do the right thing. So parang when he finds hope in he really does, 'di ba? Kahit parang he's
Does,
in,
yeah.
in the prison, parang this is wrong, parang but if you can help save my son, I will help you. So he puts his faith. So he's like
Yeah.
he was like the thief on the cross. Wow, na-connect talaga.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's the
Repeat it.
best example, but
Naipilit.
it is
There's a lot
basically
more hope scenarios in this movie. We can talk about that later on when we do our closing statement.
true. That's where we connect everything.
Mhm.
Pero yun,
Si Vince
sige.
ata maraming gusto sabihin eh.
Sige, go Vince, ikaw.
Hindi, John, ikaw muna. Mamaya na ako.
Yeah,
Ako na yun.
we're following the sequencer.
Fine. Ano ba? Ano ko ba yung kasi what I like, maybe it's probably because of age na rin, I guess. But I really like how James Gunn really pushed for, that hopeful vibe for Superman in the movie. Na parang you really felt that Superman brings hope to the people. And it's not through exposition, it's not through it's not through exposition, it's not through anything that's done narratively na pinapakita, but it's more of we were shown a Superman who brings hope to everyone he meets. And I think kasi yung na-mention nga kanina rin, Superman has always been that character that's felt like na ayaw mo siyang maging hopeful and whatever kasi parang you wanted to be darkness. And gano'n naman talaga ako before. And I think it's because of everything that's happened in this world then kasi right now that I think we really needed a Superman that's hopeful. And that's what I liked about this version. While at the same time kasi parang kasi yung lahat ng mga kilala kong people that I kind of respected has hammered into my head that Superman is supposed to be someone who brings hope to everyone. Hindi lang ito si JB, but there have been people within the Christian community circle that has hammered to me na hindi dapat ganito si Superman. So now what I my here that I kind of like, and maybe because nga rin nagka-pandemic and we're experiencing all yung parang gumigising tayo sa kaguluhan ng mundo. I think this is why I enjoyed this Superman kasi we're not told why he brings hope. We're shown
Yes.
why he brings hope.
Yes.
That's one.
Right.
Second is that what I like with this Superman, walang quips. Walang quips at all. And nakakaumay na kasi yung quips. Na parang, I should be smart, I should be quippy because this
Well,
is the
I
when
think
you
there are.
it's
pero they're
not as bad as it was
Hindi siya in your face.
before. So, ano mo yun, mauumay ka sa mga quips eh. Now, with this Superman, parang he is not as quippy, pero at the same time, he is a Superman that brings a bit of whimsy, I guess, yung tamang word, to the everything that's happening in the world. It also doesn't hurt that it also doesn't hurt that what's the term? It doesn't hurt that yung mga side characters are actually interesting. Si Mr. Terrific, yung pa lang. Parang
He just chose Steven.
he's actually terrific in this
Is.
diba? So parang
Specific is a standout character. And
and
bawing-bawi siya sa
nabawi character niya from X-Men. Na namatay lang yung character niya from in
No.
X amount of time. Diba? Parang at least ngayon you're back. You're able to,
Redeem yourself.
redeem yourself.
Yeah. He was planning to turn it down, pero na-convince siya.
Yeah, na-convince siya. And I kind of
Oo.
like that story na parang
Honestly, I think a lot of the secondary and even tertiary characters are interesting.
Yeah.
I think the only one, I think the few characters that weren't really developed as much lang talaga is like maybe Perry White. I would have liked to see Perry White a little bit more, but that's fine.
That's
And
true.
I think pero overall parang lahat sila may part or may
may
role.
character sila.
May character
May
sila, distinct sila.
Even Eve. Like,
Eve the Smoker was like,
surprisingly,
wow, okay, this was most that
you can easily get invested in her character. It's like
Mhm,
funny.
mhm.
also I
Like,
just have to say
you thought that she's such a boring, annoying, one-dimensional character, and later on it's like, oh,
because in
She's
the
like
comics
that
and in the
girl
movies, she always
Huh?
is.
Who's that girl? The one who became friends with Wong.
Si
Madison with,
si
Madison with 2 N's and a Y, but not where
Yeah.
you think.
si Madison, right?
Madison.
Medicine, but it's
And,
not. what you think.
and I think at this part
My
parang
gosh,
mas
that's funny.
na-appreciate ko rin how James Gunn is able to use yung characters that are side characters. Kasi parang yung official start kasi ng DCU right now is that hindi si Superman. In the big screen it's Superman, but in the small screen it's Creature Commandos, which had Rick Flag Senior there na nandun siya sa live action. And seeing them in live action, parang may ganitong role na kay Gana, okay, interesting. It's nice. And
Well,
parang
I think
ang
James
ganda ng
Gunn,
paggagawa.
I think
Right,
James,
right.
like I mentioned, I think in one of our discussions offline, that James Gunn is the co-CEO, and the only person he actually reports to is the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery. So parang
Wala na yung mga stupid executives.
wala nang ibang executives na nakikialam. basically it's James Gunn and yung co-CC Safran are deciding everything for so it's a refreshing move kasi parang James Gunn is basically the Kevin Feige of DC now. And which actually with more creative control because Kevin Feige still has to report to executive. But
2 years na lang naman na si Kevin Feige.
So parang and I think it's I just want to add lang talaga with this movie. It's a breath of fresh air from sa mga
Yes.
superhero movies. I think it's a good start. And I think followed by also Fantastic Four, which
It's a good first step.
I guess Fantastic Four was also a breath of fresh air because let's veer away from everything has to be dark and gritty and serious. And I'm like, pwede naman
Di
siya
ba ba kayo
maging
napapagod? Di ba kayo napapagod? Dark and gritty na nga nung totoong.
Diba? Parang, pwede naman maging whimsical. Pwede naman maging parang fantasy, diba? It doesn't have to always be dark, gritty, realistic.
And also, the funny reality is that even in reality, quote unquote, there are so many moments of just silly, whimsical stuff.
Yeah. And I think kasi parang go to watch these movies to escape reality, not to experience it again. Alam mo yung parang I love
Triggering my
Thunderbolts.
trauma.
I watched Thunderbolts pero parang kailangan ko mag-relieve ng ng trauma at depression. Ano ba yan?
Ibang usapan si Thunderbolts though kasi I think si Thunderbolts is more of
But I get
Nothing
it.
against Thunderbolts, of course.
Nothing against Thunderbolts.
I enjoyed Thunderbolts still.
I enjoyed Thunderbolts too, but it's like I needed a hug after that.
Diba? It's like,
Pero kasi for
kailangan ko
me,
yung relieve yung trauma.
to be honest with Thunderbolts, mas na-appreciate ko siya kasi parang wait lang ayusin lang natin to. I know we're supposed to be talking about Superman.
Commercial break.
Commercial break. I actually like Thunderbolts for what it is. Kasi yun yung breather movie ng MCU if you notice.
Yes.
And then you have,
Yes, I agree.
yun yung breather movie ng MCU
Tsaka,
and then you have Fantastic Four. So parang, ano ba yun? It's not, I appreciated Thunderbolts for what it is. It allowed people to breathe. It allowed the MCU to, alam mo yung humingi ka na malalim bago yung exhale mo na, you have Fantastic Four. So, yun yung na-appreciate ko sa kanya. And to be fair to MCU, welcome siya. Sobrang welcome yung si Thunderbolts. Yun lang sabihin ko.
Agree ako talaga sa Thunder. Just again, break lang. Thunderbolts was a good movie. I think it actually had its moments, and kasi yun talaga yung story. That it was something that they had to develop. The depression and the trauma. That's part of the actual story of the movie.
I mean,
So you
that's
understand
sensitive.
it. Pero again, if you look at most of the MCU, talagang napagod na ako. Parang always dealing with trauma and parang ayoko na ng baggage, please. I already have that in real life. I don't need it in I don't.
Yeah, no, coming from Brave New World, but I was so mad at the MCU. Like, at that point, I was like, I am so done with you guys. Like, I've, even though you're releasing all these, like, crap movies, I would go to the cinema, watch it first day. And so, like, by the end of Brave New World, I was so over it. I was like, maybe I should just wait for these movies to come out on Disney Plus. And then, obviously, Thunderbolts came out, and Vern was like, we need to watch this because he was so excited for it and I was like, why? Like,
Wala ka na.
hindi kasi syempre between the two of us siya yung nagbabasa talaga ng comics eh. So, ayun, and then when we went to the cinema, I was like, don't give me that hope. Don't give me that. And then Superman came out and then this one really gave me hope. So parang I'm like, let's go competition. No more monopoly on these superhero movies. So yeah, circling back to the hope that is Superman. John,
Yes.
you wanna talk about it?
God, it's talking to the wife.
I'm talking to my daughter. No, I'm kidding. So actually, so yes, I'm actually thinking about like okay, general take is the movie is not the greatest there ever was,
Yeah, of
obviously.
course not.
There have been movies that have wowed me and I just walk and think about it. Partly I think that's I realize it's a reflection of age and
Yeah.
circumstances. I think that's still something achievable and capturable. It's a mental and spiritual state. That said, just looking at the movie, I feel like I'd enjoy it more on a rewatch. I'm already happy with it. Like I'm really happy with it. It's a tone that I feel like, oh, I want to pop this on my Christmas playlist or something. It's a nice, fun, wholesome jaunt. Wholesome but slightly PG-13, as you can see at by Vince's background. So they do have some characters who are not very
PG.
farm raised.
I'm raised talaga.
Some people are very like bar in the city guy, gardener types. Um, yeah, yeah, Green Lantern. But anyway, so yeah, I like yung what James Gunn did. He has a good handle of the different types of versions of characters that he's like it's like he has all these tools of different kinds of you know different settings. You have the silver, golden, whatever, all of these things, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna mix and match this to bring out a certain mix of characters that are all actually canonically supported. There's a good characterization around them. James Gunn has a good um handle on an ensemble cast that doesn't seem like an ensemble cast, right? So, because when we look at Superman, we think of the movie as like it's just a one character movie. But when you watch it, it's like, oh, it's not a one character movie. He's the focal character, but he's not the only character. And I like that. It's a good supporting cast, and the supporting cast have their almost all of them have their wow moments. People might agree, disagree, but yeah, Mr. Terrific had a great scene
He
moment.
was terrific.
His sort of dance hero vibe. Even Guy Gardner, he had so many fun moments, and he had his the war scene, which Vince is showing. Um, I wish Hawkgirl had more of a scene. She did have one really funny scene. I wish there was more of it. Yung tipong I'm not Superman. That was a fun scene. It's like talking to the wrong hero, boy. That was so yeah, I'm hoping to see more of them. And then maganda of course si Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Nicholas
Talked about
Holt
him yet.
again proves to be a very versatile actor. I thought he's too like skinny or whatever. He doesn't quite have the aura,
Apparently not.
but
Apparently
apparently
not.
not. He pulls it off very well.
Yeah.
So Nicholas Holt reminds us why he commands the highest salary in the cast.
That's true.
He
That's
actually
true.
has the highest salary in the cast. He was paid more than Superman.
Yeah.
Paid
I
for
mean, to be fair, he's been like in a lot of things that are
That's true.
highly successful.
actually
That's
So I think
true.
he's earned the salary bracket.
He's been in so many movies.
so
So many
movies.
movies
Tsaka,
and series.
parang puro barring Nathan Fillion, I would say Holt is the most recognizable actor
Yup.
Si,
there,
Nick,
diba?
si Fillion kasi has this slash unfortunate experience of most of his films are cult classics and cult favorites. But the problem is that's the word, cult sila. Hindi sila mainstream. Whereas
Yes.
Nicholas
So,
Holt has a lot of face time in blockbuster hits throughout the world.
Warm Bodies,
That's
favorite.
Warm Bodies
Mine
isn't even the biggest one. It's I
One
mean
of my
there's
favorites. Warm Bodies is one of
X-Men.
my favorites.
Oo. But he's been in X-Men, obviously. So he's starring across again, Mr. Terrific, lol. Um, and then si ano din, he's also in Mad Max. He had he has so many weird characters. Sometimes.
Recognize me. Recognize
Exactly.
me.
It was so weird for me
So,
seeing him bald.
but he's
I
been
don't
I
bald
know.
know.
I
multiple
mean,
times.
he was
I
bald also
know,
in the
like,
Mad Max, diba?
That's true.
yeah, but
We
in
forget about that because it's
the
like, oh yeah,
stuff
that
that
was
I
him pala.
watched him in kasi, he always has hair.
Yung
So,
sa ano, yung sa, ano yun yung the menu. He had hair there.
yeah.
So
More
yeah,
But
bodies,
so
good hair.
but let's
yeah.
agree that with him being bald, Nicholas Holt looks bigger for some reason. Yung
No, he
Enya
looks
looks
He has.
scrawnier.
I don't know
para sa
about
akin.
his whatever, but the point, like, if bigger, smaller, but the point is
The point is, may
with
John's making.
with the type. Yeah, the point that I'm trying to make is the type of Lex Luthor he carries off here is something you can understand.
Yep.
It's
Actually,
like
I would even argue that he one of the closest Lex Luthor's portrayed on ano, on
The big screen.
the big screen.
he is a very he's a very believable and good Lex Luthor. He's like, what happens if you gave a genius billionaire so much hate?
Yeah.
Saka ano
Or
siya,
jealousy. Yung tamang word niya daw.
hindi siya
Yeah.
Jealousy.
hindi siya hamon
Yeah.
na Lex Luthor like si Kevin Spacey and si Hackman. Sorry, Gene Hackman. Mga hamon kasi silang ano eh. Lex Luthor eh. This Lex Luthor gives you the thing of ano, parang talagang Lex Luthor siya as described in
He
the comics.
felt like a threat.
Yeah, he felt like a threat. And
He felt like a threat.
he felt like one of the parang younger version of Lex Luthor na parang already a genius, he's thought of all of these things, but still may level of immaturity pa siya. Which I'm seeing that if we have
Yeah.
future installments, Lex Luthor is going to be more mature after he emerges.
Yeah, this is like he's young, but he's not a kid. Yeah, Eisenberg felt more like you're like super young. So this Lex Luthor feels like he's a 30 something. He's a solid 30 something, maybe pushing 40, I don't know. So but there is still a bit of a little bit more, how do you put it? More polish that he could benefit from.
Mm.
Diba? So yun,
Ah,
anyway, so
and I think
those are my main like points that I liked, and also the main thing that I wanted to bring in, an angle also I wanted to bring in is being a new dad again for the second time. Well, and the whole identity thing. So from here we can sort of segue or transition to the last point, which is what are the things that we're seeing, or what are the from a Christian perspective, what are the things we see or learn or would like to see or whatever? What are the things that came out at you?
okay.
And yeah,
I briefly discussed this earlier, but
yes,
one of the things that I really like the character of struggle nga talaga to what is right. Parang parang has this idea and he has this what is right done, and yet
right,
that constantly he's being challenged whether or not it's the right thing. When doon pa lang sa interview with Lois Lane, by the way,
yeah. Oh, that was a
Lois
good scene.
That was a
Lois,
really good scene.
ang
Lois is
talaga ni
also a
Rachel
great
Brosnahan.
character.
But it was a good dynamic to bring out the struggle of Superman in that world eh. Diba? Parang parang is that what you really think, ganyan parang you know that you represent ganyan. Daming daming moral code, ethical undertones. And at the end of the day, sabi nga ni yung galit ni people were going to die. Parang ganun. All he did, his mind, was help and stop people from dying. So
Yes,
parang in his world, parang there's no black and white in this. There's no gray area in this. If people are going to die, I'm going to whatever it is. So
Mm.
but Lois lives in a world where there are a lot of gray. Lives in a world where the good things that you do can easily be manipulated. Bad thing.
Yeah.
Or will persecute you, cancel you. I think talks about the
Modern times, yeah.
modern times. No, you do something good, people are gonna cancel you for it because they have a different what you're doing. One of the best scenes. Also the another character, another story beat that is yung idea na are we going to stay in the sidelines because because uh natin problema yan. That's not our problem. Shouldn't get involved. And that this is the dilemma that we are presented with us this gang na parang have
We're
to
not
save
being paid
Clark
for it.
but we're not being paid for it. No, parang just gonna cause trouble. But the decision of still doing the right thing. Again, balik tayo dun sa question na are you going to do the right thing? You're gonna stand idly by because it's not your problem. It's not your it's not your issue. A lot of that question that we all should ask
Mm.
when things go wrong, stand idly by.
Yeah.
I think the last story part that really kay Lex Luthor mismo yung obsession niya. Yung obsession. In fact, sabi nga niya, jealous of Superman. Parang hindi niwala that anyone could be that benevolent, anyone could be that good. No? Parang there must be an agenda. He's uh, the most powerful human, the most powerful being in the world, and he's doing it for good. I don't believe it. Which is actually a projection ni Lex because if he had
Yeah.
that power, he wouldn't do that.
He wouldn't be that way, yes.
Parang so ang ganda
Oo.
lang din ng parang how Lex in this movie really portrayed that. And this is the Lex I know. He's not Mark Zuckerberg like in Batman v Superman. Because he was like
Bakit may ganyang pagkatake?
Jesse Eisenberg is a good actor but yung character portrayal niya ng Lex Luthor doon was like Mark Zuckerberg from the Social Network. And I'm like, that's not Lex. That's not
That's not the
in
Lex that
any,
we're used to.
in any comic
Not the
book
Lex.
recreation. I've never seen a Lex like that. So,
Yun na kasi talaga yung character ni Jesse Eisenberg in everything. I mean, even in Now You See Me, that's just him, you know?
The neurotic character.
Yep.
so I mean, I think Nicholas Hoult, and I think he deserves the 2 million that he got paid for his initial talent fee. And of course, they all deserve their royalties from that movie because it's doing really really well. Ako lang, I think yun nga parang ang daming when you look at the movie, there are so many things that parang and it always goes back to the idea of doing the right whether
Yeah.
parang the challenge of doing the right thing in the face of persecution, in the face of criticism, in the face of what the world might think.
Right.
Yeah. Kind of building on what JB said about being good, I think too, like, at the same time, parang, sometimes being good means being radical. Like,
It's
alam mo yun,
punk.
parang, you're not always gonna fit into the mold that people expect you to be in, especially for us, because yun nga, like, we believe in Christ, right? So
Mm.
sometimes people think na parang, like, what you're doing, it's like so different, and it's like, yeah, because that's how it's supposed to be. So yun. And then I think also, like, in the character of Superman, one of the things that really stood out to me was when he went back home.
Yeah.
Mm.
So parang I see that as kind of like when we go through things na parang causes us to like not think clearly or like kind of doubt ourselves a bit, it does help to have a support system, or just to, parang confide in the people who know you best, who don't
Yeah.
necessarily have to be your blood relatives. So, yun. Yeah, among
People
other
who
things.
care for you, who
Yeah,
love you.
people who know you, diba?
Mm.
And you just have to really have the heart to like hear them out and listen to them, and hopefully by doing so you get clarity in like the situation that you're kind of having a hard time dealing with.
Mhm.
Ano pa ba? And then yeah, like I've been saying putting hope a lot, and it really does stand true with the movie, because even during that scene in like the war in, what's it called,
Jaipur,
Boravia. Boravia. I forget, but like
Moravia, and
remember,
Jaipur.
yeah, so like remember parang they were holding up this flag with like the Superman symbol on it, and then the war started happening, and people were like beginning to like kind of let go of that hope. But then there's this one kid who was like, no, I'm gonna hold up this flag. And sometimes we are that kid na parang we're like fighting like whether we should keep holding on to that hope. And
A
yeah,
childlike faith.
we do, yes.
Yes, childlike faith.
Exactly. So those are the key takeaways for me.
That's true.
Love turned purple.
Yes. So it is nighttime and it's bedtime for the child.
Ah, the child.
I
Yeah.
thought you have turned into.
Red Lantern.
I'm
Joke
the
lang.
Blue Lantern now.
You have turned into the.
I wouldn't mind. He's cool.
He's actually cool. I do
He's
not
actually
disagree.
very cool. Yes, yes, yes. We do catch a little bit of the Martian. Diba? Si Handsome from Lex Luthor's weird interdimensional prison.
Yeah.
So Easter eggs, right? But anyway, so who's next? Vince, ikaw. What's
Hmm.
your or si John? Hindi, John,
Ano?
nagkwento na siya eh.
Vince na.
Ano, well, sa bagay, it was Bell also, no? Okay, ikaw, John. Do you have any other stuff to say? Synthesizing your hearts and thoughts about the movie. Ikaw.
Oh,
JB.
I think especially the part where back home. I think that's her identity.
Mm.
Ganda nung who your parents are. It's not about
Yep.
background. Jack Clark would have been the worst person in the world in the past, but we knew.
Mm.
Um, and it is sort of parang how we are. Na parang our past does not past actions, no. But if especially if we put it, that's what defines the actions that after we do that. That's the past actions. At the end of the day, past actions are parang nabi sa kanya ng parents niya. Find who he is. What
Mm.
finds him is what he does has been doing. Ang ganda na the real parents in this his adoptive parents them. They're the ones who taught him right.
Mm.
So parang that's the I think the question of identity is into that. So your identity and what is right.
Mm.
Yun na yun na parang, in a sense, like for example Lex Luthor for example, identity so based on power, parang having all this parang control
Superiority complex.
or superiority complex can't look past parang the good that he could do, he's a billionaire for Pete's sakes. Parang he could do so much, pero wala siyang pakialam eh. Whether or not the city, parang gets destroyed, no? He was okay allowing his own city just so that he can yung the different about it that that his desires, the desire for power, uh, really dictate.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, well, paano ba? Kasi yung obsession niya became very like how to say, he was obsessed because he didn't think that Superman deserved the fame and influence
The
and
adoration that he got.
adoration. It's like you're getting all this without having quote unquote earned it.
Mm.
Yeah, parang you were just born with it and then boom, you have all these benefits. So what kind of, di ba? Parang ganun yung thinking niya. What kind of stupidity is this, di ba? Whereas me, look at me. I'm a genius. I'm human. I worked my way up. I built my company. Parang, but it's like, oh yeah, everything was based on his
Achievements.
achievements, forming on who he was. Whereas for Superman, it's like, well, his view of Superman was very, you don't deserve everything that you have. I deserve everything that I have because I earned it. Parang ganyan yung, basically that's how it went for Luthor. And I guess since I'm talking, I'll just do my take. My take on it is like a lot of times people are like that nowadays. We think na, hey, I worked for it, it's mine. Diba? I did this, it's mine. Parang ganun. So it's very self-centered. But the problem with self-centeredness is once you lose something that's about you, you lose almost everything and it just kind of collapses. You're not building on something with a strong foundation. So, medyo kulang for me yung belief, quote unquote, support ni Superman as to why he is good. But I do understand that the identity angle is a very strong one. And they're saying the contrast between what someone says you are versus um people who said, oh, your actions are defined. So that you have two sets of parents, no? So one set of parents who Superman never knew. They were his birth parents, however, and they're saying something which seems so wrong.
Mm.
Um, so we have to judge it on the character of the person saying this thing. We have to judge it on the actual thing being said. So in this case, the actual thing being said and the character is in question. Whereas the character of Clark's parents, the Kents, we know that they love him. They know that they're simple, wholesome people, and they just want him to be paano ba, doing the right thing, and they believe he's doing the right thing. So they don't come out and say it, but I believe that the right thing, quote unquote, does align in Clark's case with a lot of Christian worldviews because for example, yung kingdom of Jesus Christ is not of this world, which means to say, from a certain point of view, he doesn't really respect borders. He's like, I don't care about your borders because if you're
Yeah.
doing a good thing, you're doing a good thing. That's why you have organizations which are they're not Christian currently or anymore. I think I have to double check. But let's say yung Doctors Without Borders or yung mga different charitable organizations, they cross borders to help one another. And I believe that many of these have Christian values at their heart. Not saying they're Christian orgs, but the values that align, diba? Kasi diba we're called to be, what are we called to be? Salt. Christians are called to be salt and light to the world. So light,
Sharon.
Yeah, meaning a good example, Superman, and Salt, meaning you're to fight back against the corruption in the world. Diba? What if being good is punk, as they like to say in the movie? And it's true. The world is corrupt. The world is full of corruption. It's full of sin. It's full of darkness. But we are salt and light. And Superman's identity and concept encapsulates that very well. Are we all super Boy Scouts? No. But that's not the point. The point is um we're called to be more like Christ. And to be more like Christ is to be good, is to be holy, set apart, and doing the right thing, which is very difficult, which Clark slash Superman shows here. Diba? The whole Lois and Clark thing, ganda. Kasi it's like, there is realities that you have to face. And not all of us can fly with super secret identities to other countries and save people. But we do have to struggle with that tension of I would like to do the right thing, and we should be doing the right thing, but we're also constrained by human and mortal concerns and limitations. So that's a really good thing, and it's a very refreshing and a hopeful thing to see. Hey, maybe when you're if you have the right heart and you have these superpowers, you can do so much, or you can hurt so much.
What about me?
What about you?
What about me?
What about us?
I
What
don't know,
about
Ken.
Everything we've been through. Ano ba?
Uh,
Ano bang pwede ko sabihin?
take
ikaw,
takeaway?
just your take, man.
Obsession, bad. If you're a bad obsessed guy, it's bad.
Lol.
No, but in all seriousness, parang it's more of uh ano ba? In my head, I think it's ano eh, what's important at the end of the day talaga is the way that um yung everything in tamang balance. Kasi napakabilis. It's so easy kasi to fall into this misconception na just because I want to be good at this, nag-zero in.
Mm.
So, for me, parang it's always good to be reminded na hindi naman dapat maximum, parang zero in. Pero, to be honest, sa akin, for me, sa akin na, tas for me pa, um, what my takeaway from Superman is that we have to be able to look past ourselves. Kasi it's one of those things that I kind of noticed na rin with our society these days.
Mm.
And sinabi na rin naman to sa Bible. So it's already mentioned in the Bible na parang there come a time where people will be lovers of men, lovers of themselves. And nandun na tayo sa point na yun.
Hmm.
It's always about me, what I want, what I need to know, what I want. I need space. I need um, I need to breathe. It's always about me. It's never about the other person. And I think nakakapagod din mag uh, ano ba yung tamang term? Nakakapagod din kasi isipin na not as Christians at least. It's one of those things I'm still trying to get past off kasi nakakapagod masaktan. So tuloy, ang nangyayari is I'm just protecting myself from others.
Mm.
And it's one of those things that I kind of reminded of playing Superman, where we're supposed to be, as Christian and as Christians, we don't, we're, ba? As, bago ko sabihin as Christian, more of, people have been complaining that this Superman is the weakest of the Supermans on the big screen. He gets hurt a lot, he gets, and wala pang kryptonite to, maliban kay Metamorph.
I was about to say.
Diba? Well, yun lang talaga yung But then, if you think about it, it wasn't really, si Superman, hindi naman siya, I mean, he is impervious, pero that doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. And I think I think na pinapakita rin dito ni James Gunn here. Yes, hindi, yung, let's say, he gets hit by, yung binato siya ng binato siya nung kan sa ulo. Tingin mo bang mamamatay siya doon? Hindi. But then he flinched kasi it hurts. So parang it kind of reminds me lang din na sometimes, pero ako kahit personal take ko na rin to na parang
Mm.
as Christians, we're supposed to be someone who goes past our hurt and cling on to Christ para we can take it, not because we are strong, but because we are representatives of Him who is stronger than ourselves.
Mm.
Pero right now, personally, I'm still at that point I'm still in that point in my personal walk na nakaka-burn out mag-care ng tao. Kasi you're trying to care for someone and yet at the end of the day, it blows up in your face. So parang,
Sounds very Superman.
diba? It sounds very Superman. It's exactly what happened to Superman. You're trying to help. You're trying to, but because that's not the help that they wanted from you, they get angry at you. Pero kasi at the same time, you see it in this way na parang, hindi, kasi this is how I can help. And yun yung parang parallelisms in our Christian walk. And personally kasi I'm still in that point na nakakapagod pagod na akong pagod na akong mag-care for others. Hindi naman makialam. Pagod na akong to care for others when others naman, when I try to help them, nagagalit. And yun yung parang, alam ko na it's always been said on and don't look at yourself. Pero kasi I think if you don't address it in the day to day, it piles up. And that's what happened to Superman nung pinrest ni Lois Lane si Superman during the interview. He was trying to be someone that he's trying to be this person, this paragon, because of the message. Pero he wasn't trying to deal with it. Parang sinaset aside niya. And what happened was he needed that time to get away from everything. And that was that scene where he was brought back home. To be reminded of sino yung core mo talaga, sino yung pinanggagalingan mo ng source of strength. And then go back and save others. So parang yun yung I think the closest we can associate and connect our Christian walk with him, with Superman. Na parang at the point of where you want to give up, you just have to remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing. And I think that's the closest na pwede ko sabihin na lesson for this one. At least for me. Ayun.
Yeah, tama naman. The farm scene is a good one also for me because it shows him recalibrating and resting, not necessarily physically. Kasi we know physically, he doesn't really need it.
He doesn't need it.
But-
He just needs the sun.
Yeah, but in this case, the recovery was emotional, spiritual, mental. which is actually also kind of a thing nowadays, diba? Kasi we have emotional health, mental health, spiritual health. These are the things that you don't see physically. They're there. And Superman, if anything, represents the what if you never had to worry about physical health?
Okay.
What would you struggle with? The thing is, you still struggle. You struggle pa rin kasi your mind struggles, your heart struggles, your spirit struggles. Your relationships can struggle. Which is these are the points which make for a good Superman story. You don't always focus on the physicality. The physicality of course is very fun. You know, that's where the fun happens. But the struggle happens everywhere else. The story happens everywhere else. Not just in the physical. So a good Superman story will have these points, which is fortunately what we got.
I'm reminded of Elijah.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Elijah was um as a prophet, he was a rock star. I mean,
Hmm.
and well then, but I mean he showed up how many priests of Baal by parang raining down
Hundreds.
fire from heaven. Of course, si God talaga yun, no? Pero diba, as a prophet, he did so many things. And he had proven that God is the God of our God is real. Tapos
Mm.
many people worshipped him because of that. And yet biglang next scene hunted down by Jezebel, and he's now running in the desert. He got to a point that he was so weary and tired, and God could have easily said, "Get up, I'll give you powers, and you go do this." No, pero hindi eh. What God did was pinatulog siya, pinakain siya. Alam mo yon, God gave him rest. That's really, really important. Then there's time for us to rest, celebrate, because the world will beat us. There is no question about it. The only way to really continue doing God's work is time of rest to connect spirit, parang absorbed in His, that
Mm-mm.
the next time we can get back up, fight the good fight again.
Yeah, correct.
Parang in a same thing, got beaten down of I'm tired and I right thing kind of person that connected to find another day. I think also this concept that us people, when superheroes, need companions. It's not something that you do on your own. Parang
Mm.
we we go through life and battle our daily struggles with other. Because when you do it alone, uh, the burden will overwhelm you. You're crushed by the overwhelming burden, the things that you. But together, that will help you carry each other's. That's why you need a community. Segue.
You need a Justice Gang.
You need your own justice gang,
Just
Level up justice
yeah.
gang.
own small group. This is talk to. Uh, in our experience, sometimes even with the people can be trouble, but the point of the matter is you always come to not tear each other. You
Mm.
can't do this fight alone. Others like-minded will build you up. Kaya nga, di ba, parang right mind that will build you up. Hindi ka dapat dun sa toxic na parang pag nakaangat ka ng onte, ibig ka ng iba. Kasi kailangan pantay-pantay kayo. Hindi ganun yun eh. Dapat be happy for the success of others and we should help each other build each other's successes.
Mm. Correct.
Yeah. Before we, I think yung final words, if there's any final words, I wanna just quickly mention lang yung some of the messages on, because Eri was here but she couldn't stay long. Sabi loves the Nathan Fillion daw na in the background.
Yeah.
And
Bias. Joke lang.
Bias ba yan?
bias. But she loves the question though, what is the right and she also says Clark Kent needs to know Jesus so he can ask himself, what would Jesus
Which
Good,
is
good.
canonically he does because he is a Christian.
Does know Jesus.
he is
Does actually.
he is
He actually
Presbyterian,
knows.
he is a Protestant, he can ask that question. What?
Yeah. And in the stories, I think they've alluded to him meeting at some point. It's one of those kooky side stories, but it's there, But anyway,
And then Kevin Magsino says, wonder who's next Batman. That's a question that we were
We're just
asking din
talking about
kanina.
that too, right?
Yeah.
yeah, we were thinking about that too.
I think di ba, sabi kasi nila na-establish na eh that the Robert Pattinson Batman is an alternate Elseworld siya.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Any final words before we end, because it is also 10:30.
Yes.
Let the father sleep.
Indeed. Amen.
Guys, please support all the Warner Brothers Discovery IPs.
Para may sweldo ka.
Shameless plug.
For my job.
Para may
Narinig nyo guys
sweldo.
yung shameless plug.
I'm gonna be saying this a lot
Noted.
at the beginning now, but I will also talk about the MCU.
Lol. Pa-sponsor po. Joke.
I have no shame.
All right.
Yeah.
I think I'm good.
I think there's just a lot of lessons to be learned. Very relatable
Yeah.
in that sense. Struggle of identity. Struggle to do the right thing. And parang not letting desire stick.
Mm-mm.
Also knowing that, sometimes in doing the right thing, people will get mad at you. But you need to remind you that it's the right thing to build you up.
To carry each other's burdens.
Yan.
So if you're looking for a community, segue. If you're looking for a community, that you can enjoy all of these geek hobbies, watching comic book movies, reading comic books, going into anime, manga, whatever it is, and playing games. Join us here at Level Up. We have a Discord server. John can at. Also join us on our Facebook group. And you can look up at our general chat. You can join us there. Talk a lot about random geek. Great. So with that being said, any final words? Bye bye.
Watch Superman.
Watch Superman.
If you haven't watched it yet, sorry for the spoilers. Watch it.
Buy the merch, guys. Buy the merch.
I wanted to buy the popcorn bucket.
Oh, yeah.
No, buy the one in the depth store, guys. Not depth store.
Follow the geeks pala for
Malls.
Follow the geeks.
Follow the geeks for more content
For
about movies
updates,
and geek
news,
stuff, news.
leads.
So
Yes.
that being said, goodbye.
Anigaski.
Good night. Lol.